Alright, welcome back to Hot Topics TV, y'all. Y'all already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and let's get right into this topic. How low WNBA salaries led to an American basketball superstar detained in Russia. Now is not the time to be detained in Russia. As you can see, Russia is clearly at war with Ukraine, right? And there's a whole lot going on in that region. However, a lot of people are asking, what the hell was Brittney Griner doing in Russia at this particular time? Let alone why she's been held there. Some people are saying she's been held hostage. Others are concerned, and I'm talking about others as in political bigwigs, are concerned that she might become a political prisoner, a pawn piece in this whole power struggle between Russia and the United States of America. Let's get into this article written by MSN.com, and you can check out the details. American basketball star Brittney Griner has been detained in Russia, and she is facing drug smuggling charges. The Olympic gold medalist spent her WNBA off seasons competing for a Russian club that's called UMMC Ekaterinburg. Griner and other women basketball stars command much higher salaries overseas than in the United States of America. So in case you're wondering why she was there, that's what it is. She's on contract. She has to honor those contracts. Now remember, Ukraine is not bombing Russia. Russia is bombing Ukraine. So it's pretty safe in Russia. It's like when the US goes to war in, say, Afghanistan or Iraq. America still goes on with day-to-day activities. Our children still go to school. Mom still gets up and goes to work. Dad still backs out of the driveway every morning the same way he does. Only difference is our brothers and sisters are on another soil fighting a war, right? It's the same difference. So, 7-time WNBA All-Star and 2-time Olympic gold medalist. She is highly decorated. Brittney Griner, she was arrested at a Moscow airport in February for possession of vape cartridges that were filled with cannabis oil. So it wasn't like they found a kilo of cocaine in her luggage. It wasn't like they found hard drugs. They found vape cartridges. And the vape cartridges had traces of cannabis oil. 6'9" tall, Phoenix Mercury superstar now faces up to 10 years in a Russian prison for large-scale transportation of drugs, is what it's called. And this is according to the New York Times. Griner has already been detained in the country for 3 weeks so far, and they're not letting her go. And now it's coming to the forefront. We're in March. They held her in February. It didn't make front page news until 3 weeks later. All the war jumped off between Ukraine and Russia. And now we're realizing that one of our Olympic gold medalists / 7-time All-Star is detained in Russia and has been there for 3 weeks. Look at the charge. Large-scale transportation of drugs for traces of oils. Cartridges filled with cannabis oil, rather, was said to be found in her stuff, right? Now, according to the fellow WNBA player, and given escalating tension between the United States and Putin's regime, could spend an extended period of time in custody. Why? Because Russia is mad at the US right now, and Russia is in no hurry to let her go. Not only are they in no hurry to let her go, they can very well be using her as a pawn piece. The horrifying situation has shaken the American sports landscape to its core, but ironically, the circumstances that led to Griner's arrest could have been avoided entirely had the American market placed a higher value on her talent. In other words, pay her more. The legendary hooper was only in Russia to supplement her income. This is what they do in their off season. You know, in the United States of America, when the NBA, which is the men's version of basketball, when they go into an off season, those guys take their wives on vacation with the children. You know, they do fun things. They go ride the jet ski. They go snorkeling in the Caribbean. They do fun things because the money is already stocked and piled up. And then they start getting ready for the new season. Whereas the women in the WNBA, they get paid so low that they run a full season for women's basketball, and then in their off season, they go overseas to play basketball, more basketball. So a time when they should be actually resting, they're using their off time to earn extra money to supplement their income. Like many other women's basketball players, Griner spends her WNBA off seasons competing overseas. Since 2014, she's been doing this. She's suited up for Russian powerhouse UMMC, and that word that I can't seem to say, Ekaterinburg, alongside a rotating group of fellow WNBA superstars, including Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, Ali Quigley, and Courtney Vandersloot, and Emmer Meeseman. All of these players command significantly higher salaries abroad than they can possibly earn in the United States. So this year alone, Griner is set to take home in the league a maximum of $227,900, and that's her annual salary in the women's league in the United States of America from the Mercury. But only in recent years has her payday climbed into that figure range. She hasn't always been paid $227,000 for the year. She's been paid lower. She reportedly earns $1 million per season playing with this Russian team overseas, though. So you could see the incentive to go overseas to Russia and pick up that money, you know? Now, even under ordinary circumstances, this 2-season per year lifestyle is far from ideal. Without proper time to rest and rehabilitation for their bodies, athletes like Griner, they often find themselves dealing with injuries, constant injuries, in addition to an accelerated wear and tear that can cut their professional career short. But I mean, $1 million every time you go per season? I mean, hey, who's gonna think about playing for 10 years at $200,000 a year when you could play for 5 years? You know what I mean, and save your body, and you're getting $1 million a year plus your 200,000 over on this side. But during moments of international crisis, like the early days of the pandemic, or even right now as Russia wages war with Ukraine, WNBA players taking on second jobs overseas becomes all the more perilous, dangerous, thanks to the rapid deteriorating relationship between the United States of America and Russia, which is where she gets her money on the side. Griner may be a pawn in a fiery feud between two global superpowers. Damn. She went from being a basketball player to political prisoner in no time. Now, let's not get it twisted. She had the oils, the marijuana oils with her and her vaping tools and whatnot. But 10 years though, 10 years for a professional athlete who flies into your country to represent a team on a professional level, and she has never underperformed. And I mean, come on now. It's marijuana and it's oil and it's not transporting, but that's what they're hitting her with. Large scale transportation. Maybe if she had it like one vape pen worth, they would have said, okay, that's personal use, but she had quite a few. Now, according to the New York Times, Griner's arrest could be linked to a Russian effort to create leverage for a potential prisoner exchange with the American government, or a reduction in the sanctions that are related to the Ukraine invasion. In the past, the Times, Jonathan Abrams continues in the same article, says that Russia has been detaining and sentencing American citizens on what the United States officials often say are trumped up charges. Now, we haven't heard from Griner, so we don't know if this was planted in her luggage. We don't know if it really was hers. I mean, it's a stupid move to make now if she knows that this is illegal and she went and did that. Or maybe she thought Russia was being distracted by war and they wouldn't have caught it. But we haven't heard from her side of the story yet. She's on lockdown. Now, whether her detainment is connected to the larger geopolitical feud or not, Griner almost certainly wouldn't be in this situation if she was being paid properly back home in the United States of America, because she wouldn't have any reason to be wearing and tearing her body up trying to earn extra money in the off season. And like I said, $227,000 a year to play in the US versus $1 million per season to play in Russia. That's very tempting. Not too many people are going to turn down $1 million just to go play the game that you love. So the question now comes back into light again. Should women be paid as much as men? Should enough money be invested in women's basketball as we have invested in men's basketball at home in the United States of America as well? And again, it stands to argue, if she was being paid like her counterparts, her male counterparts in the NBA on $20-30 million contracts for 4 years, would she have been caught up in this in the first place? Now, had she made even a fraction of what her NBA counterparts do while playing domestically, Griner could have stayed in the United States for the offseason without fear that she would have had enough money for retirement. And that's a bad look. You know, that's the last thing you want to do, is to retire, play a couple of years, retire from professional sports, have all this fame to go with it, but nothing to show for it, because you played all those years for no money. And then people are laughing at you because they're like, oh, remember her? She used to play in the NBA. She's like 6'9", 200 and something pounds. And where's she going to work after? Right? Retire to a mediocre life? She could have rested her 6'9" frame ahead of the summer's WNBA season as her reloaded Mercury squad sets its sight on a second straight WNBA Finals appearance, and she could have spent time back home with her friends and families and loved ones. Most importantly, she has been offered an opportunity to make $1 million in America instead of Russia. Had she been offered that, Griner could have avoided jail time under these hostile foreign conditions. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Russia has been holding on to her for 3 weeks now, and they don't show any signs of negotiating yet or even talking about releasing her yet. They're only talking about prosecuting her as a criminal and her going to court and facing 10 years. Now, mind you, the U.S. has said that Russia is known to do this. When they hold one of ours or someone from the U.S., they hit them with heavy charges and there's no leniency. They throw the book at them because they're trying to give her the whole 10 years. From basketball star to political prisoner. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. Hit that subscribe button. It's Hot Topics TV. You already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. I'm out. Peace.